Today is January 24th, 2016, and this is Tim Thornton with Austin Real Estate Secrets. Thought I'd start out a little conversation today in talking about 2015. 2015 was another huge year in Austin real estate, and by that I mean another record year. And so everything a little bit as we predicted, although weren't real sure going into the year how this year was going to turn out. We had some naysayers in California that were wishing gloom and doom on the Austin real estate market, which clearly did not come to pass. The median home prices in homes went up during 2015 by almost $30,000 across the greater Austin area. We had an increase in the number of homes that were sold by about 5%. The number of days on market was fairly stable, may have gone up just a tiny little bit. Inventory is still extremely low, somewhere in the neighborhood of less than 2.5 months of inventory, meaning if no other homes were put on the market today and every home that was available today were the only houses that were available to sell, it would only take about 2 to 2.5 months to sell out all the inventory, and there would be no other homes for sale in the Austin marketplace, which is a phenomenal seller's marketplace that we have here. So new listings, there were about 36,000 or 37,000 new listings in the year. 29,000 homes sold last year, so very high percentage of what was put on the market actually sold. And December was in fact another record month for Austin real estate. We sold almost 2,400 homes closed during the month of December. Now what's interesting also is that the total revenue for 2015 closed out the year at almost $1 billion over what it was in 2014. We came close to hitting $10 billion with a B, $10 billion in revenue in the greater Austin area during the year of 2015. So a phenomenal year, low inventories, low interest rates, still a ton of people moving into the Austin area, and things look very prosperous for Austin in 2015, and we'll look ahead in 2016 in just a moment. 2016. As we look into our foggy crystal ball, I think 2016 has some challenges and some unknowns ahead that we're going to have to carefully monitor. The financial marketplace, the stock market, Wall Street, certainly is starting out the year in a very turbulent fashion, and I think that is something that we're going to see more of as the year progresses. The interest rates have been a little bit of a tiny mini roller coaster. So we've certainly seen the Federal Reserve start to make moves that are affecting the interest rate or could affect the interest rate. So far those moves have been very small. So far the impact from those have been almost non-existent. I think that is going to change as we move further into the year. The Chinese marketplace, because we live in a global economy, is something that is certainly changing right now as the Chinese begin to move to a more dynamic currency in the global marketplace, and as they move from a manufacturing industry to more of a services-based industry. There are a lot of challenges to be figured out there that could and probably will have some impact in the larger global economy. Certainly what happens in Europe, what happens in South America, what happens all over in this new global world that we've been living in for a number of years now affects us here in the United States, and all of those things have to be taken into consideration. Speaking of which, we have a big election that is coming up at the end of this year. As we move toward big elections, and I think this is one that probably could easily be characterized as maybe the most controversial election that we've seen in a long time. As we move toward that, there's always a certain amount of uncertainty that affects all of us, regardless of where we sit in our political beliefs and spectrum. And so as we move toward the end of the year, it's going to be interesting to see how the elections affect our financial marketplaces as well as our real estate marketplaces. There has been a tremendous amount of growth that's happening in the Austin marketplace. We are still seeing anywhere from 100 to 150 people a day moving into the Austin marketplace. This is a phenomenal number, and it's hard to keep up with the population signs across the greater Austin area because they are changing quarter over quarter and year over year. And with tremendous growth, especially on the outskirts areas where 10 years ago no one knew or considered to be a part of the greater Austin area. And today some of the fastest growth in the United States is happening in places like Williamson County, in Cedar Park, Leander, in the northern parts of Austin, as well as the southern parts and western portions of Austin that we didn't really consider 10 years ago. Kyle and Buda and Leander and Liberty Hill to be a part of the greater Austin area, and today they are absolutely irreversibly and inextricably linked together in the Austin area, our numbers, our people, and our larger community. So all of those things are good things. The prices of oil being at numbers that we have not seen in possibly decades, certainly numbers that just may put a smile on your face when you stand at the pump, but don't always put a smile on your face when you look at what those numbers can do and are doing to the broader Texas economy. So we'll have to keep a close look on that and see how that affects us here in the Austin area, and certainly I think it has some impact on the Texas financial markets and the Texas market in general. So lastly, as we look at some of the things that are happening in Austin, the growth, the massive growth, the fast growth, the low inventory, the number of people that are moving to the area, the number of jobs that are being created in the area, there are new challenges that are facing us. Well, there are some old challenges that are getting more complex. The traffic situations in Austin, especially as you get close to downtown, have become very intense, and something that everyone recognizes and everybody recognizes things need to be done and need to be done sooner than later. Some things are happening. Some neat things are happening as you get up into the Cedar Park, Round Rock area. You'll find that the Department of Transportation is building some new high-volume intersections, some of the very first in the city of Austin or in the greater Austin area, actually in the state of Texas. And we'll see how that helps us in terms of alleviating transportation and traffic issues. But ultimately, they're going to have to be much, much bigger resolutions to a very large challenge of the massive growth that we're seeing. So 2016, it's going to be a fun year. It's going to be an exciting year. It's going to be a year that's probably going to be filled with a lot of growth and a lot of fun challenges for buyers and for sellers alike. And so I look forward to facing those challenges with you. I look forward to figuring those things out with you, and I look forward to hearing from you. Happy New Year, and we'll see you around the neighborhood.